What's going on, guys? This is the Red Rogue, and today we'll be stepping into our first few wings of Torghast, Tower of the Damned. If you have no clue what Torghast is or how to unlock it in the first place, I did a video on that topic just a few days ago, so I recommend taking a peek at that. For today's video, though, we'll be actually showing you the process of how to progress through a layer in Torghast, so let's begin. So, Torghast. In my opinion, this could be one of the best additions of the entire Shadowlands expansion, if they treat it right. It certainly has the potential to be a fun and engaging form of content that you can do solo or in a party of up to 5 players, but how exactly does it work? Well, this video should give you a good idea of the mechanics and systems that are within the Tower of the Damned. To enter Torghast's early layers, you'll need to be max level and do a series of quests. If you want to see that process, I'll leave a link to a video I did covering that topic on the screen now. Once you're in though, you should have 2 portals open to choose from, which change the main theme and style of the Torghast layers you'll be able to partake in. These seem to have some form of a rotation in terms of which ones will be open, and on the beta at least it changed daily. A layer in Torghast is 6 individual floors of the tower, with a boss waiting at the end. These layers will award a very important currency known as Soul Ash. This will be used to craft legendaries at the Rune Carver, whom you'll unlock the services of by doing the Introduction to Torghast. I've already done a bit of an overview on how that process works a little while back, but I'll try to get a revised version up for once Shadowlands is launched. So, once we choose the section of Torghast we'll be venturing into, as well as the layer, we'll begin our dungeon crawl. As a heads up, though kinda obvious, higher layers will result in stronger enemies with more health and deal more damage. So, now that we've entered our lair, we'll start with a big, glowy sphere thingy that's floating in front of us. This is our first example of an anima power. Anima powers are basically special buffs that will persist throughout the Torghast run you're currently working on. So once you leave after floor 6, you lose all of these and will have to start the next layer without any buffs. These buffs can vary wildly, from simple things like % health bonuses, to making it where you cause enemies to explode when you kill them, and everything in between. They honestly got very creative with some of these, so I'll hopefully have time to do a video covering a lot of them. Seriously though, there are a lot of different powers to use. There will be generic style ones, class specific ones, and even covenant specific ones. For instance, as a Venthyr rogue, there is an anima power that makes your flagellation haste buff last 200% longer, or for Kyrian rogues, it'll make your echoing reprimand effect act as though you spent 20 combo points, which is pretty freaking crazy and fun to use. You'll earn anima powers from a variety of things. The most common ones will be from finding them in these special urns with black smoke billowing out the top, killing random enemies who have them, and in particular, the enemy guards standing at the entrance of the next floor will always have one. You can also find them from other means, such as helping friendly random NPCs throughout the tower, or buying them from brokers. Brokers will appear on floors 3 and 6, and will sell several consumables, like rejuvenation potions, and things that make you harder to detect, as well as a small selection of anima powers and items that can generate a random anima power for you. But obviously they aren't just going to give these things away, so you'll need to stock up on Phantasma as you progress through each floor of Torghast. Phantasma is currency used specifically for purchasing items from brokers, and is earned mainly from killing enemies. However, you might sometimes come across an anima cache, those floaty black orbs that I mentioned earlier that give you anima powers, and one of the options might just be to give you Phantasma, which can be nice if the other options aren't very appealing to you. One thing to remember though, is you can stack multiple of the same anima power if you get repeat copies, so just because you saw the same thing come up more than once, doesn't mean you can't get it more than once. So if you wanted like 100% extra stamina, or 50% extra crit strike, or anything like that, you can stack the crap out of anything you find. Throughout each floor of Torghast, and based on which wing of Torghast you're in, you will encounter many different types of enemies and tricks and traps that are designed to kill you dead. Spike traps, swinging axes, lasers, and invisible enemies are very common sights to see and not see when you're within the halls of Torghast, so you'll want to pay extra attention to your surroundings. You'll also want to keep an eye out for things that might help you, such as glowing blue keys which can be used to unlock special chests if they're present in your current Torghast floor. You may also run into a friendly NPC every now and then that needs your help finding an ally or a missing item or something along those lines. Helping these NPCs will often reward you with a very potent anima power choice. Most importantly though, you need to make sure not to die. I know, such an interesting concept. However, you only have a limited number of attempts in each layer of Torghast, otherwise you'll have to start over the entire run. Sometimes, the brokers will sell an item that lets you increase your total amount of attempts though, so if you're worried or not doing that great, you'll definitely want to keep an eye out for these. As I mentioned earlier, there will always be a slightly more badass enemy guarding the entrance to the next floor in your Torghast run, and they'll always drop an anima power as well. These guys are honestly not too hard, but they usually have moves you really want to interrupt or avoid, so if you can't interrupt them, it can get a little dicey. On floor 6, you will fight a mini-boss, which will be the end of your Torghast layer. These usually have pretty simple mechanics, but again, being able to interrupt is a huge benefit. I did most of this at a pretty low item level of 138, which is what they start you with on the beta when you make a character, and it also should be right about the item level once we reach max level if you were to jump right into Torghast as soon as you're level 60. I was able to do up to layer 3 pretty comfortably like that, but once you get to layer 4, it starts to get a little tricky, so you'll definitely want to be extra careful and know how to use all of your CCs and all that good stuff in your toolkit if you have it. The amount will be limited per week, but you should also receive some Soul Ash for defeating the end boss of a Torghast layer for the first time, each time you do a new layer. Once you've defeated the boss, you'll see a big old doorway that will send you back to the main room of Torghast so you can try another layer again. From the amount of Soul Ash you need versus how much you can earn, it sounds like you'll be able to make your first legendary on week 2 of the expansion, not the first week, if you want to make a rank 1 legendary, as the higher ranked versions do cost more Soul Ash so they take longer to earn enough for. And there you have it, 1 layer of Torghast down, 1 billion to go. With the repeatable nature of it due to the randomness and the crazy anima powers that we'll have available to us, Torghast is honestly some of the most fun I've had in WoW in quite a long time. You can of course do these in a group if you prefer, but I kinda like to treat it like a little mini mage tower, and I do things solo just to see exactly how far I can progress on my own. I hope this video was helpful to you, and if so, any likes, comments, or new subscribers are fantastic ways of showing your support for the channel. If you're new around to my little corner of the YouTube algorithm, then I'd like to welcome you to come check out the rest of the channel. I do new uploads every week down a variety of content, ranging from things like guides, add-ons, weak auras, tutorials, and of course rogue-specific things. I'd also like to take this time to thank all of my regular viewers, commenters, subscribers, and especially my patrons, who all help make these Shiba Shenanigans possible. Thank you all so much for watching. This is the Red Rogue, and I'll see you guys around.